Happy Wednesday. Welcome in to this happy hour edition of Seahawks Today Live. Tyler Jones here with you. Happy to have you with us as we catch up to speed on everything you need to know on your Seattle Seahawks. Coming up on today's show, we'll go over the latest news and rumors, including those involving Jamal Adams, his injury situation. We'll talk about a potential trade for Dorance Armstrong. Also get an update on Jake Bobo to get to later on. We'll break down my final 53-man roster projection before the preseason finale for your Seattle Seahawks. And speaking of the preseason finale, we have a full-on game preview to get to later on with a look ahead to Saturday's game against Green Bay. And also on top of that, we'll take your questions as well. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat. We'll answer some questions at the end of the show today. So if you want to get involved, that's how you can. We'll show you some love. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the show. Shout out your city. Let us know where you're watching at here on this afternoon. I see Nick Fury is here. Elite, Pax, Allen, Dat Fat Rat, Beta, YT, my guy, the MVP. The last two live shows says, what's up? What's up, Beta? Devin is also here. Elite, the Holy Allen, Beta. Jeff says, hey, Tyler. Hey, Jeff. Dat Fat Rat says, Father Jones back at it again. Good to see you, Dat Fat Rat. Been a minute. Mikey in Houston in the house as well. Elite, Tom. The Prez is coming back. Yes, indeed, Tom. Ian. I got Devin in Harrisburg. Elite in Auburn. I got Norcog in Spokane. Aaron in Stanwood, Washington. Doom in Compton. Beta in Clemson, South Carolina. George says, go Seahawks from Vancouver, Washington. Alan from the LA 105 freeway. I got Jeff from Kent, Washington. I got Davis in Federal Way. I got Thomas in San Antonio, Texas. Got Pablo says, let's go Seahawks. Michael says, let's go. Alan says, nice shirt. Thank you. Right back at you. I'm sure you're wearing a nice shirt, Alan. Troy in San Antonio. Got a little San Antonio feeder system of Seahawk fans, much like Tom and Troy there. Doom at the top of Mount Rainier. Mikey in Houston, grew up in Federal Way. Pablo in South Carolina. A couple South Carolina folks today. Tom in Los Angeles. Matthew says Jake Bobo time. 12th Man Nation says go Hawks. So excited for Jamal. Matthew says sound south. Mikey says he's checking in from Texas. Go Aggies. Yikes. The fake 12th man over there. Let's see. Armando in San Diego, California. Got Michael in Spokane. Dennis in Virginia. Devin in Washington. A lot of names to read off there as I am joined by producer extraordinaire, the one and only, the other Tyler around here. We get Tyler squared. Tyler Smith, we call him Smitty. He's in the house with us for happy hour. You see him on our watch parties, and now he's hanging out with us for what I believe is your first live show.
No, actually second.
Second.
I believe second time on Seahawks Lives. How is everybody doing? Good to see everybody.
Put yourself on camera when you get a second.
A good bit of you guys from the watch parties.
Yes. So Smitty is here with me. We got a lot of Seahawks stuff to talk about today as I crack open a happy dad. I'm not a dad, but I'm happy drinking a watermelon seltzer here for the 12s today as you guys shout out your city and let us know where you're at. We're coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios in beautiful downtown Dallas, Texas, here on this Wednesday. It is hot outside, but thankfully we are indoors in the AC where it's nice and cool inside nonetheless. But we're certainly enjoying ourselves here in Dallas, Texas at the Chat Sports Studios here today. Beta says I can't donate today, unfortunately. Beta, it's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about it, my guy. Let's see. James says, what's up, Apocalypse from Arizona. Let's see. What else we got here? 12-Man Nation. It's going to be a special year from Tacoma. I got James Strong in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's go Hawks, indeed. Who is the MVP of the preseason for Seattle? Through 2 games, who is the guy that has been the biggest standout for the Seattle Seahawks? Weigh in. I got a super chat from Tom we'll get to here in just a second. But in the meantime, who is the MVP? Shout him out, show him some love, and let me know what you think. I'm going to just take a guess, Smitty, that the consensus is going to be Jake Bobo.
Jake Bobo is moving mountains in Seattle.
He can do no wrong.
With that 4.9 40-yard dash, he's moving mountains for how fast or not fast he is on the football field. But he makes it all look pretty. Like so far he has in the preseason. There's a couple other names though. A guy like Boye Mafe is a guy who we're seeing taking a big leap in year 2.
So far, that's the only 2 answers I've gotten is Boye Mafe and Jake Bobo.
Yep. It looks like a clean 50-50 split here in the chat.
Jake Bobo with a slight edge, but Mafe
Yeah.
getting a lot of votes too. I've not seen any other name than those 2. Clearly the 2 fan favorites here.
If I have to show some love to somebody else who has not been mentioned just yet, Tyreek Smith looking pretty solid.
Okay, we got a new one now.
Well.
Pablos is Trey Brown.
Okay, Trey Brown. I've had high hopes for Trey Brown since we picked him.
Yes.
When they did select him in the draft in, I believe, 2021, the Seahawks are very, very low on cornerbacks, so that made me very high on Trey Brown at the time. Hasn't shown it too much in the regular season, but he's been showing out in preseason so far.
Jim Barron says, hi, y'all. Hi, Jim. Let's see. We also have a JSN in there. Okay.
Love that.
Mike says, how did JSN do with his wrist surgery? As far as we know, everything went fine. Hopefully he's back in time for week 1. They sound like he's going to be out about 3 or 4 weeks with that surgery. That Fat Rat says Levi Bell did good too. We got more on Levi Bell we'll get to coming up later.
For sure.
On that front. Thompson says Troy, Levi Bell, and Bobo. How far will the Seahawks go this season? Chime in, tell us in the comments section. Give us your official prediction for your Seattle Seahawks. What will be the end result for this team in 2023? Will they make it to the playoffs? Will they get to the NFC Championship? Is the Super Bowl a possibility? What do you guys think? Tell us in the comments section. We'll shout you out, show you some love, as I'm very curious what you guys think. 2 games in, 2-0 in the preseason. How you feeling? Where do you think this team's going to go from here? Nick Fury says Super Bowl. What about you, Smitty? What do you think after 2 preseason games? Has your mindset at all changed? Do you feel any different? Where do you think this team goes now?
I don't think it's necessarily the 2 preseason games, although our young players have shown out in those matchups. But I just think a gradual, getting closer to the season. I've seen some stuff from Gino in the offseason. He just did a pretty cool interview, about a 15-minute interview with Seattle Sports, ESPN Radio, I believe. Yeah. So that was a really good clip. Watched the Pete Carroll interview. Now, this didn't go too far into this year's Seahawks, but the Pete Carroll interview with Richard Sherman, that was a treat.
That was.
Absolute treat. You got to see a lot of cool things on there as we're getting a super chat in. We'll throw that up in just a second. Yeah. But yeah, I'm getting really hyped up about the Seahawks season. I'm thinking that this team has a legitimate chance to make the Super Bowl. But right now, I'm going to go with they get at least 1 playoff win. That's for sure.
So Matthew says NFC Championship.
I love that take.
That Fat Rat says divisional round exit. Nick says Super Bowl. Tom says at least 1 playoff win. Yep. Gunner says divisional. Nick says Super Bowl. Troy says NFC and get blown out. I don't want to hear anything about getting blown out. Beta says at least NFC Championship. Mike says 11 wins, take the NFC West. Ian says 11-6. Elite says divisional. Jonathan says Super Bowl win. Let's go ahead and get to those 2 super chats. Tom and then Doom, one by one. We'll start out with the first super chat. We haven't got to the super chat menu yet, and you guys are already showing us some love. Thomas Bridges, my guy, with a $2 super chat. You're secretly hoping the Hawks get KU legend Dorance Armstrong. That's what we call a tease in the biz.
It's a good tease.
I really like Dorance. I do. But I'll say this to kind of give a tease for later. I don't want to say too much. As much as I like Dorance Armstrong, and he would be an asset, the Seahawks have other priorities, other things I would like to see taken care of first. But I'm not opposed to Dorance Armstrong. More on that coming up later. Thanks for the $2 super chat, Tom. $10 super chat from Doom. Doom says, if the Seahawks don't make a move for Buckner, could you see them trying to trade for Jeffrey Simmons? Titans definitely are contenders, and he could be a nice addition to the Hawks' young roster.
Should we wait to answer this in full later? Kind of give him like a little spark notes now, and then maybe answer it later.
Yeah. Let's save that one for the mailbag, but I'll give the short answer. Jeffrey Simmons could be a possibility. I don't think the Titans are shopping him necessarily. The Titans are in a weird situation where they should commit to one of 2 things, either going all in or rebuilding, and they've kind of just stayed where they are. they made one addition basically with DeAndre Hopkins. I think it'd be tough to get Simmons now, but I could see Simmons being available at the trade deadline.
That's what I believe as well. I think it all depends on how the Titans season starts rather than a trade happening sometime like soon.
So with that is a Geno shot that I owe
Geno shot.
Doom
Guess we get,
as we get to the
menu
Super Chat menu. Every $10 Super Chat today, I'm taking a shot. It's what we call a Geno shot for Geno. Cheers to the 12s out there. Good stuff right there, that fireball. Any Super Chat gets you a shout out. Every $5 Super Chat, we sing the Geno song. Touchdowns all day. He rules. Every $10 Super Chat, we take a Geno shot, as you just saw right there, give you some screen time. Every $20 Super Chat, we'll give you a little beer chug. And for every $50 Super Chat today, we have the beer shotgun. We can get that out if we need to coming up later on and show you guys some love there. Also, on deck, we are very close to filling up the boot. Before football season, we are definitely giving away the boot to somebody. And here is basically, put it this way, this boot that we've had for the offseason, these are your last few chances to get on the Boot Hall of Fame before we retire this boot. $100, and you can have a spot on the Boot Hall of Fame. So this is your last chance, basically, over the next couple of shows before we send this boot away and retire it. So $100 Super Chat, you too could be on the Boot Hall of Fame. You know, I've been inducted multiple times on this boot, but Smitty is yet to be inducted on the Boot Hall of Fame. So maybe you're already on the boot, but maybe you could be the one that gets Smitty inducted. He's been a 12 his entire life.
I have.
And this would be the highest honor for him if you could put Smitty on the Boot Hall of Fame. $100 Super Chat, and we'll do the Hall of Fame induction. You could be the one to put Smitty on the Boot Hall of Fame. And also on top of that as well, the boot could be an option today. I'm thinking, Smitty, if we get to $200 in Super Chats today, reasonable number, $200 in Super Chats, then we can take that a boot today. Okay. That's a reasonable offer for the 12s out there. $200 in Super Chats. We'll take down a Super Chat. It's $200 collectively as a group with Tom's Super Chat that just came in for $5. That puts us at 17. So we're already making progress as the show is just now beginning. We get to 200, boot is going down. It's going down for real. So that is the offer there. Tom with another $5 Super Chat. That means we got to sing the DK song.
That is true. Hold on. Let me get it up here.
And it's fitting that this question is about DK.
Yeah.
Thomas Burgess writes, how is Tyler Lockett rated higher than DK on Madden?
That's the wrong one.
That's the one from earlier. The one from just a few moments ago.
Yep, here it is.
So you look at the statistics, and for about the last 2-3 seasons, their stats are very similar to each other. What I would say is that the reason why you probably see Lockett rated higher than DK, and I'm not a Madden expert, although I'm pretty decent.
We do kind of have a Madden expert behind the keys over here myself. So I could probably answer this.
Here, I'll give my answer, and then you can give your answer here. What I would guess of why Tyler Lockett's rated higher than DK is we typically see more consistency from Tyler Lockett.
Okay.
The thing about this, okay, DK is going to have probably several 100-yard receiving games.
Yeah.
And then other games where you could put him on a milk carton because he just goes missing.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett might not have all those 100-yard games, but he's constantly going to have 3, 4, 5 catch games. So he's a little more consistent in that sense. That would be my guess. Now, Smitty, as the Madden expert, give me your opinion on this.
So Madden doesn't treat all statistics or attributes equally. A guy like DK, not necessarily. Think about DK's route running. You know, DK isn't known as the best route runner in the NFL. I'm very interested to see how the step he takes in that department this season. But think about short route running, medium route running, long, deep route running. Lockett probably beats him in all those categories at this moment, whether you believe it or not. Things like pure catching of the football. His catching stat is probably higher, which I would believe is true.
Right.
DK being 6'4", 250, and running a 4.3 40, yeah, that's great. It just doesn't always equate to high Madden ratings.
Right.
Now, if he, upgrades in the route running and catching department this season, he's very likely going to be ahead of Tyler Lockett next year.
So there's your long-winded Madden answer from Madden expert Smitty.
Yeah.
And we got to sing the DK song.
Yeah, that's right.
Chompin', carols, chompin', Gino passes, no one stoppin'. DK, touchdowns all day. He rolls. Oh, DK's the best. We love DK, even if he's not ready to decide Tyler Lockett on Madden. Okay, a couple more for you here before we get this show started. We want to give some shout-outs. I want to see over this next minute, how many S's can we get in the chat for the Seahawks? And we want to see as many we possibly can over this next minute. I want you guys to get fired up as if it's game day. Consider this like a pep rally for when the Seahawks take the field on Saturday against Green Bay. Spam S in the chat, a minute on the clock, and Smitty is going to yell out as many names as he can over this next minute. So on my count, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, we had some early risers. We got Doom and Nick Fury, Elite Prods, Gunner. We got Carlos. We got, oh boy, here we go. The chat is rolling. We got Fallon Day. I can't pronounce that, but you know who you are. The Mad Respect. Mikey in Houston. Tom Anderson. ABC RJ. We got, who else we got here? We got
Jim Barron,
Carlos.
Gunner.
Oh, yeah, Gunner.
Carlos.
We got Nook Dog. Oh, here we go. Super chat rolling in. We'll get that in a second. We got Yana. Hey, good to see you again, Yana. Sips and Seahawks. That's a
30
good name.
seconds gone by.
Ian
Keep
Herron.
going.
We got Matthew
Faster.
Bellamont. We
Faster.
got, come on, keep rolling through here. We got Ian Harmon. We got Jonathan Marker. We got Mike Dainty. We got Steve John. How you doing, Steve? Jim
Better
Barron.
than Steve Jobs. 10 seconds
The
to
Mad
go.
Respect. How we doing?
Finish strong.
Come on,
strong.
finish strong. I want to see that chat rolling through. Jared G, how we doing? All right, this is good stuff, guys. Love
Good
to
work.
see it.
Good work. Let's get to
everybody.
the $20 super chat, and then we got to get rolling here. $20 super chat that came in from James Mack, the chief of the apocalypse, chiming in saying this year will be like prom night. Seahawks will go all the way. Here comes the apocalypse. James, I love that. Although that was not my prom night, but I'm glad that you had a good prom night, and the Seahawks will hopefully have the same. Hopefully all year long is a good prom night.
I believe you owe him a beer chug.
I do owe him a beer chug. Was your prom night like that?
My prom nights.
Did you go all the way?
No, I can't say. I can't say my prom night was how I hope the Seahawks season goes this year. That's
Cheers
not,
to you, James. Let's have a little chug.
Big time.
There we go.
All right.
So that puts us at $37 for the day. We get to 200. We're doing a boot today. It's very possible. Could be done.
Before we start, gotta do this.
Gotta like the video. I got 100 people watching, and I only got 24 likes right now. I think we need to at least double that. I need 25 more. We need to get to 50. So 26 more technically. Like the video. If you're ready to start today's show, I'm not going any further until we get to 50 likes. And when we get to 50 likes, then we can start today's show. Here's what's coming up. We have the latest news and rumors. Jamal Adams. We'll also touch on a potential trade for Dorance Armstrong. And then we'll also look at Jake Bobo as well. What's going on with him as he's on pace to make the 53-man roster. We'll tell you more about that. Speaking of the 53-man roster, I have my latest and final 53-man roster projection to get to. And we'll preview the Seahawks matchup with the Green Bay Packers, tell you what to watch for, as well as answer some of your questions. Hashtag Seahawks or a super chat for our mailbag that we'll do later after we get through the Seahawks-Packers preview. So that is what's ahead. I'm at 41 likes right now. I need 9 more, and then we'll get this show started. 9 more likes. Where are my 12s at? Hit that like button so we can get this show started and have ourselves a day here on this Wednesday afternoon. It's happy hour. No place I'd rather be than spend happy hour with my favorites in the Seahawk Kingdom. Let's enjoy ourselves today. Let's have a fun time and set the tone early for a good week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Smitty, we want the Seahawks to step up and perform well on Saturday, but really the work begins today. We want to make sure do our part, set the tone early, so the Seahawks can have a great week of Seahawks football ahead when they take on Green Bay. 5 more likes, and then we'll get this show started. News and rumors to get things going, and then we shall go from there. 4 more likes away, and we'll go ahead and get started here coming up in a moment. Elite says like. Gunner says like. It says don't be lazy. I love it. I love it. Everybody get involved there. Hit that like button. We'll get started.
5 more. 5 more.
4 more. 4 more, and we're there.
4 more.
We are battling today, by the way. Our Steelers channel, who's also live right now in Super Chats. They're at about $123. They started a little bit before we did, though, to be fair. And we're at $37. So, do we really want to lose the Steelers talk today? I don't think so. Super Chat battle. Let's see if we can take down Steelers talk and if we can beat them in Super Chats. There's the number. That's what we have to work with. A little bit behind right now, but no deficit is too large for us to overcome. Less than $90 away, and we can start the show. And we can take the lead from Steelers talk. Super Chat battle today. You want to be on the show, want some screen time, want to have some drinks with us, Super Chat, we'll show you some love. All right.
We got there.
We got the 50 likes, so now we can get this show started. News and rumors up next. Smitty, let me know when you're all ready, and then we'll get this thing started. So,
yeah.
All right, here we go. First segment, first of 3 today, here on Seahawks Today. News and rumors starts right now. It's Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with 3 things you need to know. Could a trade for Dorance Armstrong be in the works? Also, an injury update on Jamal Adams. His return could be very soon. And is Jake Bobo a lock to make the Seahawks 53-man roster? We'll examine that. But first, let's begin with Dorance Armstrong. New details have emerged from a report that we told you about a few weeks ago from ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano about speculation if the Seahawks could potentially make a move for Dorance Armstrong. Armstrong, of course, is a solid player with the Dallas Cowboys defensive end. He's been there for a few years, former product out of the University of Kansas. We know that the Seahawks have been talking about trying to do something with that defensive line. Could Dorance be on his way to Seattle? Well, according to Graziano's report, remember this story. Graziano said the Seahawks were lacking veterans on the defensive line. That's no secret. Everybody knows that. And remember, Jarran Reed ended up moving to the nose tackle spot to try to help out that position. That was one of the things that the Seahawks did at the beginning of training camp, and seems like they're pretty well set on that being the case. But from Graziano's report, what was interesting was he said that the Seahawks are going to depend on a lot of young guys, which is very true. And that those young players, the Cam Youngs, the Mike Morrises of the world, Graziano made a point of saying, don't expect those rookies to jump in and excel right away, that the Seahawks need to upgrade or have a backup plan of some sorts, and Dorance Armstrong could be the solution that they're looking for. But then, after that was out by Graziano, we found out from Mike Fisher of SI's Cowboys Country a little bit more what was going on with the Seahawks. Listen to this. ESPN's Dan Graziano is among those suggesting ideas like this. The NFL insider setting Seattle as a potential trade partner. Problem. A source inside the Seahawks tells CowboysSI.com that Seattle is presently satisfied with its group. So no trade. How about that? We're just going to kill the rumor like that? Couple things that I take away from that. Number one, Seahawks satisfied with their D-line group. That's a big deal. That they're confident they're okay because, granted, it's small sample size, a couple preseason games. But the run defense has still been an issue. Although this group looks improved, it is pretty obvious if you're watching film and watching the way the Seahawks play that the interior of the defensive line is still an issue. It hasn't been fixed for this Seahawks team. Although it's maybe better than what we anticipated, it's not necessarily solved. So that's interesting to hear that Seattle is just satisfied. Okay, all right then. Number 2, I'm a huge fan of Dorance Armstrong. I, as many people know, attended the University of Kansas, covered the Kansas Jayhawks football program while I was there, and I got to see Dorance Armstrong from the very beginning of his college career, and he's one of the best college football players I ever saw in person. You talk about the impact he had. This guy already had his picture up on the stadium like he was one of the all-time greats before he even played his junior year at Kansas. I like Dorance, but he isn't necessarily what the Seahawks are looking for. If you were to make a trade for a guy that's been a good football player, contract's workable, $5 million, with a potential out at the end of this year. He's played in a lot of games, 76 to be exact. Dorance isn't a bad player at all, but where the Seahawks are at, they need interior help. Dorance doesn't help that issue. Does he help the D-line? Sure, but the bigger issue is the interior. Dorance doesn't do anything to provide relief for that. There's other guys I'm more interested in for Seattle than Dorance Armstrong necessarily. So I'm with the experts here on this. I don't see a trade here. More on Dorance Armstrong. Some statistics here for you. 33 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He was great last year. No one's denying how great he is. And you look at his trade value, you could get him pretty cheap. 5th-round pick is all it would take to get there. But this is not what the Seahawks need. Should they make a move? Yes. Dorance isn't what the Seahawks are necessarily looking for, at least what they should be looking for, in my opinion. So with that, here's the question I want to know today. Do the Seahawks need to make a big move before week 1? Like getting a big-time nose tackle or another playmaker of some sorts. What do you think? I know we've talked about potential moves maybe involving the likes of Darrell Taylor or Mike Jackson and others. What do you think? Do the Seahawks need to make a big move? Get in that comment section. I want to see at least 30 people in the comment section chiming in on this and let me know what you think. Y for yes, in for no. Do the Seahawks need to make a big move before week 1? Weigh in. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Jamal Adams, could he be making his return very soon? Well, according to Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll, he provided an update on Jamal Adams and his status and was very optimistic about what's ahead for Jamal Adams. As it looks like things are going very well, we could ultimately see Jamal Adams potentially return as early as this week off the PUP list. Listen to this. Carroll said even today, Wednesday, time of this recording, could be as early as today that Adams comes off PUP. Returning from a torn quad injury, as last year we saw him miss pretty much all of last season. Played that first game against the Denver Broncos, was not able to play since. According to Carroll, if Adams comes back, he would be able to go through walkthroughs immediately. Not full-on contact, but at least he would be able to do that. He would eventually be eased into practice. It would be a slow process, but he would work his way back on the football field with what the Seahawks and their medical staff have in mind here. And he's not been rolled out for week 1 against the Los Angeles Rams. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm not saying that he is going to play either. It's a work in progress, but certainly a step in the right direction as far as Jamal Adams goes. It's good to hear that Jamal is making this progress, that he's heading the right direction. We've been waiting for that news for a long time. And think about this. With the depth that's been shown at safety throughout training camp and in the preseason, with the likes of Julian Love added to the mix, Kobe Bryant now in the fold here, you have some flexibility. The updated depth chart for now, Jamal Adams, until he's fully healthy, is listed as a backup, but obviously he'll be back to being a starter when he gets fully healthy here. But all of a sudden, you have some flexibility to do some different things. Maybe Kobe Bryant goes back to corner. Maybe you play 3 safeties, do a 3 high safety look with Diggs and Love and Adams. Maybe you play Adams some at linebacker. You have flexibility to do a lot of things that you couldn't do before with Jamal Adams. That's a big deal. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt again, because this changes everything for the Seahawks defense, having Jamal Adams back there. Another injury note. We told you a few days ago about Jordan Brooks, of his progress when he got removed from the PUP list, came back, and has been working his way back to full speed. Well, now he's all good. He's fully cleared and ready to go, and he's expected to play Week 1 against the Los Angeles Rams after that ACL injury that he suffered. Isn't that crazy? 8 months ago, suffered an ACL injury, and all of a sudden we're already talking about Jordan Brooks being back for Week 1. Amazing. Just remarkable by Jordan Brooks to show the intestinal fortitude to get to this point, but then also the medical staff to make this happen. Incredible job. Excited to see what Jordan Brooks does in 2023. As far as Jamal Adams goes, what's your confidence level in Jamal staying healthy? What do you guys think? Be real with me. You can give this a low number if you want. If you're optimistic, go ahead and give it a high number. Put it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Scale it for me. What's your confidence level in Jamal Adams staying healthy? Let us know in the comment section 1 through 10 what your confidence level is. Today's show is brought to you by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code Seahawks125, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free at checkout, chatsports.com/bet with promo code Seahawks125. Odds are out for your Seahawks taking on the Green Bay Packers this weekend. Seattle is an underdog against Green Bay. The Packers, 3-point favorites, over-under sitting at 40. If you want to bet on this game as well as the rest of the preseason, maybe a little MLB action on your Seattle Mariners, or if you want to get some bets in on soccer, motorsports, golf, and more, go to chatsports.com/bet. Enter the promo code Seahawks125 to get your bets in now at chatsports.com/bet. Final note before we wrap up today. Got to tell you about the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Jake Bobo, the rookie undrafted free agent out of UCLA. Morale is high about Jake Bobo after what he's done in the preseason as well as throughout training camp, and everything's looking good for this guy to make the roster at this point in time. Pete Carroll weighing in on Bobo said Jake's flying pretty high right now. He's done great. He's just done well in the few plays in the game. He's done well in practice throughout. He's been really steady. Like, it's not a surprise to see him play like that in the games. We were thrilled to see what would happen because he's been making plays out here. It looks like he's been part of the flow to me. I don't see any reason why we would think different. Pete Carroll used 4 words in particular to talk about Bobo, and he said these things: consistent, tough, smart, savvy. I love hearing all those words to describe a football player, and especially Jake Bobo here. Welcome to the Jake Bobo experience. He's a roster lock at this point. I'm all in. Jake Bobo is going to be in Seattle for a while. Get used to it. The Jake Bobo train carries on. And what he's done in this preseason has been nothing short of fantastic. 5 catches, 98 yards, nearly 20 yards of reception, and a 29-yard long. Bobo's been great, and I would argue his best football is still yet to come. I do have a bit of sad news for the hashtag more Bobo movement. Bobo's been so good that he actually might not play this weekend against Green Bay. There's speculation, sounds like they might just say, you know what, Jake, we want to keep you healthy and you're on the roster. No need to have you play. We've seen enough. So if you wanted more Bobo, you're going to get more Bobo in the regular season. Maybe not this weekend, but hey, we'll take whatever we can get from Jake Bobo. So without further ado, as we finish off today's show, I want you to get in the comments section and let's show some love for Mr. Bobo himself. You want more Bobo? Tell me in the comments section. Spam hashtag more Bobo and show some love for Jake in the comments section. I'm so thrilled to have him in Seattle. It's been a lot of fun to see what he's done already. The best is yet to come. Let's get fired up. Spam more Bobo in the comments. Let's go. For more Seahawks coverage, Stay tuned right here to Seahawks Today as we're talking about your Seattle Seahawks each and every day with daily news and rumors. Got our watch party coming up this weekend. Subscribe now for free, turn on notifications, and I will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. There we go. So one segment down. We got 2 more to go. Next up, we're going to do 53-man roster projection for your Seattle Seahawks. And I got to tell you, Smitty, the more Bobo movement, that might be a little bit sad of him potentially not playing this week, but it's a good thing.
Oh, it's a very good thing. Anytime you're keeping a UDFA out of a preseason game, he's got to have showed you something, and he obviously did. He's passing the eye test for the viewer. He's obviously passing the eye test for the coaching staff as well. So, Jake Bobo, welcome to Seattle Seahawks.
Yes. More Bobo. I want to see all those more.
Yeah. The chat's
Bobos
flooded
in the
with
chat.
Bobo right now. This is tough. I love it.
More Bobo. Can't get enough of this guy. Nick says this is big Bobo time.
Big Bobo time. I love it.
Big Bobo time.
We've got James Mack, Mr. Hawkpocalypse, saying Bobo knows football.
Bobo
Hashtag
knows.
more Bobo.
Oh man, let's get to the super chat menu here.
Sure.
Here's what I want to do. I want to drink to salute Jake Bobo. Okay, from now until Matthew says Smitty is quiet. Smitty's all in on Bobo.
I'm all in.
He's all in. There's nothing quiet about it. Here's what I want to do. I want to salute Jake Bobo. We got about 2 minutes till our next segment starts. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock. And over the next 2 minutes, Smitty, every super chat that comes in, when we take a drink, it's going to be in honor of Jake Bobo. You want more Bobo? Let's have some drinks and let's party on Jake Bobo's behalf and show him some love and honor him for what he's done already as a member of the Seattle Seahawks. And for those of you that may be just tuning in to the start of the preseason and everything, let's give him a warm welcome to Seattle. Now that we know that almost for certain he's going to make the 53-man roster, let's have some drinks on his behalf. So for over the next, I got 90 seconds remaining. Every super chat is a salute to Jake Bobo as we want more Bobo. Bobo Mania alive and well here on Seahawks Today. Here's what we're offering. Any super chat equals a shout out. $5 super chat will sing the DK song. Every $10 super chat will do a Geno shot of some Fireball. Every $20 super chat will do a beer chug. Every $50 super chat will get out the beer shotgun. And every $100 super chat gets you a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. Maybe you want to induct Smitty. Maybe it's Jake Bobo. Maybe yourself. A spot in the Boot Hall of Fame will show you some love, and you can have a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame for $100. And if we get to $200 collectively today, then we will take down that boot. We will put 3 beers in one and drink it as fast as we can here at some point today. We are at $37 collectively. So we got a ways to go to get to 200, but it can be done. So who is going to be the one? I got 30 more seconds to go. Who is going to be the one to step up and buy a drink to honor and salute Jake Bobo? Who's going to come through and step up and buy a drink for Jake Bobo? Who's out there? I got Red River in the chat. I got Mad Respect, Matthew, Nick, Adam, Mike. Who's going to be the one to buy a drink for Jake Bobo? We'll circle back here in just a second. We'll find out who's going to be the one to buy the drink for Bobo. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get ready for our next segment.
Let's do it. You know what I think about Jake Bobo? I wanted to say out here is I'm glad he's kind of going to be that wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, maybe not exposed to as much opportunity to start as he's had in the preseason, kind of starting. I think he could really be in that Freddie Swain role from a few years ago. I think that's something he could possibly factor in because there's just so much talent in the wide receiver room now. Like, it's going to be tough for Jake Bobo to stand out when it comes time for the regular season.
Right.
So a guy like him, I hope he takes full advantage of the opportunity he gets. We've already seen him be excellent on special teams, so that's going to be somewhere you're going to see Jake Bobo on the field for sure. And then, hey, you never know, with JSN's injury, he could have a little more opportunity than expected to start.
Did Fanatics get moved over?
No.
Go ahead and move over sideline.
And I actually, I thought about that during during the cut just now.
Good to take care of now. We got to wait one more second before we start, folks. Our 53-man roster direction. I like this. Lord Buddy Bear, the Raider fan. It took a Raider fan to salute Jake Bobo. I appreciate the super chat, but 12s. You're going to let Raider fans come in here and do your job for you? I appreciate it, Lord Buddy Bear. Don't know who Bobo is, but sure, why not?
That's respect.
That is respect. To Lord Buddy Bear. Lord Buddy Bear. A $5 super chat. Whoa. Little over spillage there. I did not get it on me, though. That's what matters here. That is a full shot of Fireball right there, folks.
Let me get over.
There we go. Got that done. Adriano makes a point, says, DK song, folks. You better believe. We'll sing the DK song. Even though we're honoring Jake Bobo right now.
Oh, that's right. We have $5 for the DK song.
$5 for the DK song.
You're selling our voices for nothing.
Right?
For pennies.
Pennies on the dollar. With that said, Lord Buddy Bear, thank you for the cheers for Jake Bobo. I mean, it took a Raider fan to salute Jake Bobo. I'm a little embarrassed. I'm not going to lie. But, hey, at least it happened. At least somebody made it happen to get the $5 super chat. With that said, we'll sing the DK song as we'll show love to DK as well. Chopping, carols, chopping, Gino passes, no one stopping. DK, touchdowns all day. He rules. There you go. All right. 53-man roster projection coming up in just a moment as we're waiting on a couple more graphics, and then we will get this show on the road. Also a reminder as well, we will do a mailbag coming up in a bit. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag. Super Chats get priority on the mailbag. We'll answer those first. So that'll be coming up later on. You will not want to miss out on that. But up next, our 53-man roster projection. You got sideline hats, right?
I did not. I had jerseys.
Oh, it should be sideline hats. Okay. Give us another minute here, folks. Stand by. Stand by here, folks.
My bad.
Our next segment. 53-man roster projection is next. And then later on, we'll preview Saturday's game between the Seahawks and the Packers. And I got 5 things to watch for from your Seattle Seahawks coming up on Saturday.
Saturday hats are in. Let's do it.
All right, we all set? We're good to go? Okay. Let Smitty pull up his script, and then we'll get this show started. All right. Segment number 2, 53-man roster projection. It is about to start right now here on Seahawks Today. Let me pull up my script now. There we go. All right, here we go. The 53-man roster projection. Almost time for it to be set. Coming up in just a few days, we will know who the Seattle Seahawks will have on the field to begin Week 1 against the Los Angeles Rams. And here on Seahawks Today, we are going to go through all 53 spots and tell you who we expect to hold those spots after this second preseason game. So without further ado, let's start with the quarterback position. I think the Seahawks are going to carry 2 quarterbacks. Geno Smith and Drew Lock should be able to hold those spots. Holton Ahlers has impressed in the preseason, but I think he's going to be fine on the practice squad. I think that he'll hang around there in that role, and if something were to happen to Geno or Drew Lock, then I would guess the Seahawks would be more than comfortable with the idea of promoting him to the active roster if something were to happen, if that were the case. But as far as these 2 quarterbacks go, real quick, Geno has been fantastic this offseason. He's done everything that's been asked of him and then some. I think Geno is going to play even better in 2023 when you factor in how much better the talent is around him, comparably speaking to a season ago when you look at the guys like Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet and JSN. If Geno plays the level he did last year then those numbers will just improve just based on having better players around him. Meanwhile, with Drew Lock, I think personally, and I feel like most people feel the same way, I am much more comfortable with Drew Lock right now than I was at this time last year. Drew Lock's not going to be your starting quarterback. He slides into that number 2 quarterback role, and if something were to happen to Geno, Drew Lock has shown that he knows how this offense operates, that he can go through the motions and do what it takes to keep this offense running smooth. He knows the playbook, run effectively. Drew Lock can do a good job if his name's called. Quarterback position's fine. The backfield for Seattle. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, DJ Dallas, Kenny McIntosh will be your running backs. I think the Seahawks have invested too much in DJ Dallas to move on from him, although I do like Sir Roderick Thompson. I could see Thompson get promoted maybe later on if there's an injury or something to the running back active roster, but for now, I think Thompson probably slides in the practice squad spot. Nick Bellore, of course, as well at the fullback position. Wide receivers. Now this is where things get interesting. My opening day wide receivers. I think Seattle carries 5. I think it's DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN. I expect JSN to be healthy and back for week 1. Jake Bobo makes the roster. I think he's a lock at this point. Barring something catastrophic happening of some sorts, Bobo is a lock to make the roster and could very well be that number 4 receiver. And then Cody Thompson, I think, holds the other spot. You got guys like Young and Cade Johnson and others that are competing, but I think it's going to be these 5 for now. Bobo, the undrafted UDFA out of UCLA, was previously at Duke, has been nothing short of spectacular in this preseason as he's led the Seahawks in receiving. Former third-team All-ACC selection. He's not the fastest guy by any means, but he does a really good job of getting open. He uses his size, his athleticism. Jake Bobo has been a great addition for the Seattle Seahawks. Credit to the Seahawks scouting department for finding Jake Bobo, and credit where credit's due for what they've done. And watch out, his best football is still ahead of him. All right, so here's what I want to know. Pick one to keep. I told you I think Cody Thompson gets that last receiver spot. Is Lindsey going to make it? Is Young going to make it? I mean, heck, we can even throw in Cade Johnson in there as well. Let me know in the comments section who should be the one to get that spot. I already have Jake Bobo getting 1 spot. Who gets the last spot? Chime in the comments section, weigh in, and tell me who you think is the last receiver or 2 to make the Seahawks roster. Let us know in the comments section. You know, folks, I'm always talking about my Twitter or Instagram, but I know that we still have a lot of people that use Facebook. And the reason why I know that is because you guys are sending me messages or commenting or liking on my Facebook page. And I got Facebook updates as well. You can follow me at Tyler Jones Live, facebook.com/Tyler Jones Live for updates there. I understand not everybody's got Twitter and all that, but give me a follow over on Facebook. I'm close to 1,000 followers on Facebook. I need 36 more of you. So head over to Facebook. If you still got a Facebook account, go over there, give me a follow for more Seahawks content. Certainly would appreciate it. Help me get to 1,000 followers for more Seahawks coverage. To the tight end position, 3 tight ends for Seattle. I think Noah Fant, Will Dissly, and Colby Parkinson hold down those spots for the Seahawks. All should play pretty similar roles within the Seahawks offense. You should see some 2 tight end sets from time to time as well. Watch out for the tight end position. It's pretty decent, actually, with these 3. The offensive line, 5 guys to watch on this end of things, and then I got some more to get to as well. Cross, Lewis, Olu, Phil Haynes, Abraham Lucas, those guys I have making the roster. I'm very excited to see what Cross and Lucas are going to do in year 2 as the bookend tackles for the Seattle Seahawks. Those 2, I think, should take a big step in the right direction. I mean, sure, Charles Cross was the top 10 pick last year, but Abraham Lucas was the better of the 2. Both of them are going to be exciting to see what they do this season. Also on the list, Evan Brown should be your starting center, although he does have experience at the guard spot. So if they need to shift some things around, we could potentially see Evan Brown play some guard. Jake C., Stone, and then Anthony Bradford. Anthony Bradford's a little bit of a project. He's shown some glimpses, but I don't expect Anthony Bradford to be starting at least day one. As far as Olu goes, and I am going to continue to applaud the scouting department of the Seahawks throughout this show today because Olu was a fifth-round pick, and this was a guy that was the best center in all of college football last year, Oluwatimi, and somehow fell to the fifth round. Played at Michigan, was at Virginia before that, as well as Air Force. And you talk about the impact this guy's made already. In his preseason debut week 1, you know how many pressures he allowed? 0. Not a single one. This guy won the Outland Trophy, was the Remington Award winner, was a consensus All-American. Olu's legit. And he might not start week 1, but if something happens, if there's an injury or some sorts, Olu's going to be ready to go. I'm very confident, and to be honest, no offense to any Evan Brown truthers out there, but this guy's the future. Evan Brown's kind of the temporary placeholder of sorts. Olu's going to be your starting center for years to come. I'm all in on Oluwatimi. Pick a starting center. Does Olu find a way to win the job, or does Evan Brown do so? Weigh in, tell us in the comments section. Type Olu for Olu. Type Evan for Evan Brown. Let us know what you think. Who is the starting center for Seattle? Weigh in the comment section and let me know. Cutdown day just around the corner, and here's what's going to happen on Cutdown day. Some of you might be sad with some of the decisions the Seahawks make. Others are going to be like, you know what, I didn't like that guy anyway. I'm glad he's gone. And what we're going to do is we are going to put a video and react to the cutdowns, to the decisions that Pete Carroll and John Schneider make. So as soon as we know the cuts and what the 53-man roster is officially like coming up next week, we are going to bring you full coverage here on Seahawks Today. So go ahead and subscribe now. That way you don't miss our watch party this weekend, but also so you know right away what the 53-man roster looks like for your Seattle Seahawks. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications. Stay alert of what's going on as the Seahawks get things going with a Cutdown Day coming up next week. Subscribe now. You will not want to miss it. We'll have you covered. To the defensive line we go now. And things are going to be interesting with this defensive line. Jaron Reed, of course, at nose tackle. Cameron Young is there. And then Draymond Jones, Mario Edwards, Mike Morris, and Miles Adams hold the defensive end spots. And although there are some concerns, we're going to be real with you all, and that's what we do here on Seahawks Today. There are concerns with this defensive line, in particular, the interior of the defensive line. Although the concerns are there, it sounds like the Seahawks feel confident that they're okay with what they have, that they're going to roll with these guys, that it's going to be this group. And I got to tell you, they're going to need a lot out of Jaron Reed. Jaron Reed's in his second stint in Seattle, spent 4 seasons with the team previously from 2016 to 2021. The last couple teams he played with, the Packers and the Chiefs, he was at that defensive end spot, now moving over to the nose tackle position. He's got his work cut out for him. It's not going to be easy, but the Seahawks are going to be asking a lot of Jaron Reed. They are going to need this guy to play at a high level, in particular when it comes to run defense, which has been a big weakness for this Seahawks team. Jaron Reed's got to be able to hold his own and do a good job. The edge rusher spot. A lot of excitement with these edge rushers here. Uchenna Nwosu, he got paid. He's going to be back. Darrell Taylor, also coming off a season of 9+ sacks. Darrell Taylor not going to be your starter, though, more than likely. That belongs to Boye Mafe, who Pete Carroll has called the most improved player this entire preseason. Derek Hall, the rookie out of Auburn, has been really good. Tyreek Smith, second-year player of Ohio State. He led Seattle in tackling in the second preseason game. He's a force to be reckoned with. And then there's Levi Bell. Yes, Levi Bell. Where did this guy come from? Played for the Michigan Panthers of the USFL after he was undrafted out of Texas State. And in 6 games in the USFL, he had 4 sacks. That was tied for the 10th most in the USFL. And you talk about the impact that he's brought to the Seahawks team, just coming out of nowhere, riding the momentum from the USFL against Dallas. Of all defensive players, every single one, He was the highest graded defensive player with an 89.5 overall grade and an 86.1 pass rush grade. Levi Bell, incredible story. And if he has another good game against Green Bay, which I have no reason why to think he wouldn't, Levi Bell's going to be on your roster. I think Levi Bell's got a great shot. He's in position to make the 53-man roster. I mean, this was nowhere on anyone's radar when camp began, but here we are. So, star in the making, what do you guys think? Will Levi Bell make the Seahawks 53-man roster? I think he will. I did not have this guy making the 53-man roster a couple weeks ago. He came out of left field. What do you think? Levi Bell on the 53-man roster? If you think he is, type Y for yes. If not, you think it's somebody else, type in for no. Let us know what you think. Y for yes, in for no. Seahawks fans, I got something for you. You've been watching the last couple Seahawks games. You're going to watch Saturday's game against the Green Bay Packers. And one thing you're going to notice is different players, coaches, personnel staff wearing these Seahawk hats that you see on your screen right now. There's the ball cap style, the flat bill, the throwback. And the good news is that we have these same hats available for you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You can get the same hats that your favorite Seahawks are wearing, and it's all in one place. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hats to get yours today. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. You're going to love these folks. I'm telling you. And there's more beyond just these three. We're showing you a few different options here, but there's others as well on our website. So after the video finishes, go ahead and head over to chatsports.com/Seahawks hats and get yours now. You're going to love these hats. You get it in time for football season. You'll be rocking with your hawk out, be looking good. You look good, you feel good, you play good, as they say. Get yours now while supplies last. Right in time for football season. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. The inside linebacker room. Seahawks got some good news that Jordan Brooks was off the PUP list. We weren't expecting 8 months ago, coming off of an ACL, that he'd be ready for the start of the season, but sure enough, he is. BBK, also I have making this, John Radigan, Devin Bush, Bobby Wagner, of course. Vi Jones misses because of Jordan Brooks coming back, but expect him to stick around in the practice squad and potentially waiting for his phone to ring if there's an injury or something. To the corner position we go. Now this is where things start to get a little interesting. I don't think that Artie Burns makes the roster for Seattle. I think Artie Burns is done. And with Jamal Adams coming back, I think, in theory, you slide Kobe Bryant back to the corner position. And, I mean, he'll play both. He'll play corner and safety as well, just wherever the Seahawks need him. Mike Jackson and Rick Woolen are your two outside corners. Devin Witherspoon starts in the nickel. Trey Brown out there as well. This is a really good, deep cornerback room for the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm excited to see what the Mamba mentality of Kobe Bryant's going to be in 2023. He has had a very good preseason and really good camp. Started all 17 games as a rookie last year with 6 starts. And the flexibility that he provides to be able to change up things for Seattle, playing both corner and safety. Watch out for Kobe Bryant here, folks. I think you're going to like what you see from Kobe Bryant, and he's impressed me to this point. Very curious how they make this work, what role he necessarily plays. But think about this. As much talk as there was about Reek last year, being a Pro Bowler, leading the league in interceptions, Kobe Bryant was picked before Reek was. Kobe had a good rookie year last year. He just wasn't a Pro Bowl caliber like Reek was. Kobe is going to be impressive, too. Don't sleep on Kobe Bryant and what the Seahawks do with him defensively. The safeties, Jarek Reed, Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, Julian Love. These three, I think you'll see the 3 high safety look at times. Joey Blunt, of course, is injured right now, but he'll be back at some point. This is going to be a fun group, and the flexibility that it provides to work with. Maybe you see times where Jamal Adams lines up at linebacker, but nonetheless, getting Jamal Adams healthy, being able to have some flexibility with this defense. We mentioned Kobe Bryant, a part of the mix as well. Look out. And I really hope that Jamal Adams is back to playing at a high level that we know he's capable of, a Pro Bowl caliber player, right? We haven't seen a whole lot of Jamal Adams. 21 games in total he's missed the last 2 seasons. Returning from that torn quad, 3-time Pro Bowler in 2018 and 2020. Can he be that same player he once was? I sure hope so, because They're certainly paying him a lot of money to hopefully be the player that he was a couple years ago as far as that goes. Last but least, see what I did there? The special teams unit. No surprises. Jason Myers, Michael Dixon, very good 1-2 punch. Rookie Chris Stoll. I'll be honest, I don't know much about long snappers, but Chris Stoll was rated the top long snapper in college football last year at Penn State. He'll hold that spot. And there you have it. That is your 53-man roster for the Seattle Seahawks in 2023. What do you think? How would you grade the Seahawks roster? What do you think of this roster the Seahawks are going to put together in 2023 and my projections? Grade it for me in the comment section, A, B, C, D, or F, and let me know what you think about the Seahawks roster. As always, hit me up on social media, Facebook in particular today. I want to get to 1,000 followers, but I need your help. Follow me there at Tyler Jones Live for more Seahawks updates, and I'll see you next time on this very program, Seahawks Today. All right. Grade the roster. We got one more segment to go as we'll have a Seahawks-Packers preview. We'll also do a mailbag. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag. But how would you grade the roster? Michael says B. Mike says B+. Devin says B+. Matthew says A-. What do you think, Smitty? How would you grade the Seahawks roster?
You know, I understand and I respect how humble a lot of these Seahawks fans are being, giving them the B's, the B-, B+, whatever you want to say. I really do think this is an A- roster. Aside from the interior defensive line, and who knows, there could be some young talent out there like a Cam Young who really shocks some people this year. And I'm very interested to see how Draymond Jones does in the run game.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bobby Wagner is going to be a huge plug back on the Seahawks roster in the run game as well. He meets people at the line of scrimmage. So you think about by position group. We just went through the whole roster.
Right.
Quarterback, solid. I mean, Geno led the league in passer rating. And
any disagreements on that roster projection, by the way?
I think there was one I had. I do believe that. I don't know. I think everything here was pretty solid. I thought I did have a disagreement, but I could be just.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah. No, this all looks pretty solid. I think that they will. The one disagreement I had is I do believe that they will hold 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
Really?
Yeah, just because of the emergency quarterback situation and all that. Drew Lock obviously just got a little bit dinged up in the Cowboy game. So you want to have that emergency quarterback. You don't want a 49er situation last year. Keeping Allers on the practice squad is definitely a possibility, like you said. But I think having 3 QBs on the roster.
I think it's very
I think most
it's
NFL
very
teams,
rare that you lose 2 quarterbacks in a game, though.
Oh, definitely rare. But I think we're going to see a trend in this league in the next few years of just every team essentially carrying 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
Yeah, we'll see. But the grades for the roster. Devin B+, Matthew says A, Stan says B, Nick says A to A-, Ilona says A, Georgie says A. Let's see, Tony says B+, A-, Steve says A-, B+, Finn says A-, B+, Nick Fury says A to A-. So
we got James Mack saying he gives it a grade H for Hawkpocalypse.
Hawkpocalypse.
You're really trying to make that work, James Mack. I might get involved.
Trying to make that a thing.
I might get involved.
We might. Let's go to the Super Chat menu one more time before our final segment.
Let's do it.
Here's your chance to interact, get involved in the show. We're at $42 right now. Steelers is at over 150. So we're a little bit behind Steelers today, but we got some catching up to do. We're about 160 away from Das Boot. 3 beers in one, we drink as quick as we can. We did a boot last week. I would love to do one today, but we got to get to 200 to get there. Any Super Chat equals shout. $5 will sing the DK song. $10 will take a shot, a Geno shot. $20 do a little beer chug. Got my drink in hand. I'll do some chugging. Every $50 Super Chat will get out the beer shotgun. So that is what we're offering today. $42 right now. Feel free to Super Chat, get some love on the show if you want to get involved here. That is how you can contribute to the show. And when we do our mailbag segment in just a moment, your questions will come up first in the mailbag using hashtag Seahawks or Super Chatting or your questions come up first with a super chat. So
Now, Tyler, do you remember who sent in the Jeffrey Simmons question? Because unfortunately, it's left my feed here in the super chat feed, so we won't be able to get it up on the screen.
oh no,
I know. I want to give him a shout out because I feel bad that it's just technology prevented us from putting him up.
let me go back, and that's why I can scroll and check
Yes.
in real time here.
I'll have to ask my people around the office how I can get old super chats maybe back in the feed because I'd love to get. That's a good question. I think Jeffrey Simmons.
Okay, it was from Doom.
Doom. Okay, cool. Shout out Doom. Very sorry that we won't be able to get your question on because I did like that question a lot.
Yes, but we did answer it. So
yeah, we did answer.
But Doom, thanks for that super chat earlier. You got a super chat? Use that or hashtag Seahawks to get your questions in for the mailbag segment. We'll do after we give you our Seahawks and Packers preview coming up in just a moment. Smitty, we all set? We good to go?
Yeah, we should be. Just let me get everything set up.
And if you think of any questions as we're going along,
hashtag Seahawks.
Hashtag Seahawks or super chat, and we'll answer those as we continue. So without further ado, our final segment, it is our Seahawks Packers preview with a few Q&A mailbag questions to go along with that as well. That is next here on this live edition of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Seeing plenty of questions come in. That's good. Very, very well, everybody. Final preseason game. Isn't that crazy how quick this preseason went?
Right? I mean, the 3 weeks definitely makes it a little less. It makes it go by slow or quicker. Excuse me.
I'm not gonna lie. I do like the week off before the regular season.
Oh yeah, 100%. That works great.
Because we need it for ourselves. Enjoy Labor Day weekend. You know. That'll be nice. Let's see. What else is the chat saying? Ilona got her questions in. That's good.
Hold on.
Nick says had to rely on McCaffrey. Nick getting plenty of questions in. That's good to see. Who else got questions? Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get your questions in on the show. I thought the background was there earlier.
I thought it was too. I must have disappeared. We
Interesting.
are waiting for it.
We're waiting on a graphic that disappeared on us. And then we'll get this thing started. Oh, boy. Seahawks Packers preview coming up. Michael, I see your question.
All right.
Good deal.
It's not even the background, but it kind of works.
Kind of works.
That works. All right.
Okay.
Let's
Do the thing. All right, here we go. Final segment on the way here on Seahawks Today Live. Thanks for joining us. Tyler Jones, Tyler Smith here with you. Let's get after it. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. We are talking Seahawks Packers, the final preseason game. I have my 5 things to watch for from your Seattle Seahawks, and then we'll answer some questions that you guys have ahead of the game coming up this weekend. Before we get to all of that, though, I want to make sure you join us coming up on Saturday. We're going to be live bright and early. The Boot Moses will be back. I promise you that much. As we get going about 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon on the East Coast for our pregame show, and then we'll be live for the entire game. Having a few drinks on hand, analyzing the game in real time. Myself, Tyler Smith, Smitty will be here with me. And what I've been told is that we need to try to get to 40,000 subscribers before football season actually starts, week 1. And the threat that's been made by the bosses is if we don't get to 40,000 subscribers before football season, we might have to become an LA Rams channel. Wouldn't that be awful? Can't let that happen. Not on my watch. Subscribe to Seahawks Today for free and help us get to 40,000 subscribers for the latest happenings in your Seattle Seahawks. Don't let this become a Rams channel. We are less than 800 subs away from reaching that milestone. Going to be a big deal when we reach 40,000 subscribers, but we need your help to get there. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Seahawks Today. We'll have you covered here on the channel. You will not want to miss out What's going on? Okay. Stand by here, folks. Stand by here, folks. A little graphic here. Thank you. Nick, I love that. Boo, no Rams are coming here. I don't want to become a Rams channel. Believe me. I would not want to become a Rams channel. Oh, the third line's missing. The third background. It was there earlier. I've never seen this before. Did you click something? Oh, man. Hold on here, folks. In a moment. Let me go ahead and put the sub link in the chat. That way we can do our part to make sure we don't become a Rams channel. Here's the sub link so you guys can subscribe to Seahawks Today so we don't become a Rams channel. Sub link in the chat. We'll throw it there for you. Okay. All right, let's try again. Here we go. Let me, folks, a little minor error there, but we're good to go. All right, here we go. What to watch for, starting right now. Let's begin with the Drew Lock experience. We were told by Pete Carroll that we will see a lot of Drew Lock this weekend, and it's been a much different circumstance for Drew Lock this preseason, comparably speaking to last year when he was competing for the starting quarterback job with Drew Lock. But Lock, he's been, pun intended, locked in so far to this point. He's seen significant playing time in the first two preseason games. He did hyperextend his knee last week against Dallas, but it looks like he's going to be just fine, as the report afterwards was the x-rays came back negative, that he should be okay. And he's had an encouraging offseason is how I would describe it. An encouraging offseason and an encouraging preseason. And here's the deal. I look at it this way. You see the numbers. Drew Lock's been very solid throughout this preseason. I am to a point where I feel comfortable that if Drew Lock has to step in for Geno Smith, if he gets hurt or something, whatever it may be, Drew Lock can get the job done. I am convinced that Drew Lock is capable of leading this team to victory if something were to happen. Drew Lock has won me over with what he's done so far in this preseason to be a competent backup and lead the charge if something happened. Number two, the wide receiver room for the Seattle Seahawks. This is a fun group, right? JSN's not going to play. He's out. Hopefully the Seahawks get him back for week one. But beyond that, the story of training camp into this preseason has been Jake Bobo mania. Bobo has been fantastic. 5 catches, 78 yards, nearly 20 yards of reception, and 29-yard long. Bobo's been fantastic. And I personally think when you add in Bobo, JSN, already having DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and others, this looks like the best wide receiver room we've seen in Seattle in a long time. There's going to be some decent quality wide receivers that are going to be cut, that aren't going to make it. You look at, D. Eskridge, for example, his future. He's got the 6-game suspension. Is he going to have a spot when he comes back? What about Young, who they drafted last year they were pretty optimistic about? Matt Landers has looked solid in the preseason. Probably not a spot for him at this point here. This group is just fantastic. I really like what the Seahawks are offering at the receiver position. Bobo's been so good. I don't even know if he's going to play on Saturday if they really want to put him out there. So very optimistic about this group and what they have going forward. What do you think of this game coming up Saturday? Predict it for me in the comments section. How do you think this game fares out? Did the Seahawks win? What's the final score going to be for their final preseason game? It's our pinned comment today. Tell me what you think. What will the final score be? Weigh in the comments section how you think this one plays out. Number 3 on our what to watch for segment, saved by the Levi Bell. Where did this guy come from? That's the million-dollar question all of us have been asking over the last couple of weeks, as Levi Bell has just come to life and been a sneaky good find for the Seattle Seahawks. He was undrafted out of Texas State, went on to the USFL to play for the Michigan Panthers. And Jeff Fisher was already gone by then. He was on an island basically there in Michigan. And in 6 games that he played there, he still managed 4 sacks, was tied for 10th in the league in sacks for the entire season. Levi Bell was great. And then, bounced around, tried out for Baltimore. That didn't work out. Ultimately ends up in Seattle. And if you go back to what he did in that last preseason game against Dallas, of all the defensive players, all of them, Levi Bell had the highest grade of any defensive player, 89.5 overall and an 86.1 pass rush grade, according to PFF. I mean, where did he come from? And here's the deal with Levi Bell. No one, and I mean no one, had this guy on their radar before camp. I think when we were doing our roster projections, no one even thought about Levi Bell. Not a disrespect, but he just came out of left field. Now, if he has a solid day on Saturday, he's a lock to make the roster at this point. I don't know how he gets left off based on the way he's played to this point. He steps up again, there's going to be a spot for him on the 53-man roster. An incredible journey, a long road to get here, but well worth it for Levi Bell to end up in Seattle. He'll be fun to watch. The outside linebacker position. This has been a fun group for Seattle. We know how good Uchenna and Nwosu is, but the other side, you got Darrell Taylor, who's coming off a season where he had 9+ sacks, but questions about the other things that he doesn't really do well, right? When it comes to things beyond just rushing the passer, run defense, when it comes to coverage and all that, not necessarily the strengths of Darrell Taylor. But then you look beyond that, and there's other options. Boye Mafe is part of the equation, and he's been fantastic. He's expected to be the starter. Derek Hall is expected to be a significant impact, and he's been really good throughout camp and throughout the preseason to this point. Tariq Smith, also another guy to watch for, who we didn't see a whole lot of last year. This year, his second year, and he looks like a veteran, and you got to work him into the rotation as well. I mean, last week he led the Seahawks in tackles, had 8 tackles, a sack, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 QB hit. Tariq Smith was great. All of a sudden, you have some big-time depth. Now, they might end up trading Darrell Taylor because they don't necessarily need him. He's not going to be back next year, and you got other guys with bright futures that you're going to have around for a while. Look out. This is a fun group, a position of strength for the Seahawks. Finally, on my what to watch for list, got to go to my boy Trey Brown, Boomer Sooner. Trey Brown is been really good, in particular what he did last week, a breakout game in the second preseason matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. 5 tackles, had an interception, tackle for loss, pass breakup. He's making some noise. I really like what I've seen from Trey Brown to this point. And, what his role is to be determined of sorts, because you already have the 2 outside corner spots locked up. The nickel spot is probably going to go to Devin Witherspoon. But Trey Brown, just throw him out there and figure it out. Let him play. And the main thing is just having him out there, that depth that he brings, a starter quality corner that's going to be your number 3 or 4 corner. That's a difference maker for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm excited about Trey Brown, and hopefully he shows more in this preseason game coming up this weekend. Who's the player to watch? I named a few guys. There's obviously some others out there. Weigh in the comment section. Give me some players that come to mind who you think are going to stand out and have a nice night for the Seattle Seahawks coming up on Saturday. BetUS is the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports, and they're sponsoring today's episode. And here's the deal. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code Seahawks125, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, get $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet, promo code Seahawks125. The latest odds on your Seattle Seahawks against Green Bay, a little bit of an underdog. Seattle, 3-point underdog. And the over-under is set at 40 right now. So if you want to bet on your Seahawks, maybe you want to bet on some baseball with the Mariners, or you want to bet on some soccer, some motocross, your motorsports, whatever it may be, Go to chatsports.com/bet. Enter the promo code Seahawks125 to get your bets in now while you can, and you'll be glad you did. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code Seahawks125. Now, before we go, I want to answer a few questions from our live show from the YouTube chat, starting with Michael that says, what's the possibility of one of our corners being traded? Michael, great question there. I think it's possible. If you're the Seahawks, and we've heard the reports that they feel pretty good about their defensive line, despite the question marks that we may have here. There's two potential options for trade pieces to help improve that defensive line. That would be Mike Jackson, and the other would be Darrell Taylor. And if you're the Seattle Seahawks, think about this with those two positions in mind. Mike Jackson, as much as we like him, he's not a part of the long-term plans for the Seahawks. Neither is Darrell Taylor. So in theory, you could trade either one of those and get something out of them. Mike, the most likely to get traded, but I don't think it necessarily happens. Nick Fury checking in, says hashtag Seahawks, hashtag Papa Seahawks. What are the chances of getting Trey Lance? What are the chances and what are the risks and rewards of such trade? Chances are zero. Trey Lance is not going to be in Seattle. I think his market is going to be about a 4th or 5th round pick. He was named the number 3 quarterback by San Francisco. Talk about a fall from grace. And quite frankly, I don't want Trey Lance either. I don't want to give the Niners draft capital. And on top of that, I don't want the quarterback situation adding in a Trey Lance who has not been good. I don't think Trey Lance is worth anything. I'm out on Trey Lance. I don't think he's going to do anything in this league. The Niners are going to move on from him, and I don't see him being successful anywhere. So no thanks. Don't need Trey Lance. Legion Forever writes, any concerns about Mike Jackson after he got cooked last week? Hashtag Seahawks. Mike Jackson did not have a good game against Dallas, if we're being frank with y'all. And, I mean, think about this too. He was going up against the second teamers of the Dallas Cowboys, and yet he struggled. I'm not overly concerned. It was one bad game, one preseason game. It's early. We saw Mike Jackson, the sample size last year of 17 games, starting all 17 games and playing well and holding his own for 17 games. I don't think that's an issue that lingers on. I feel fine about Mike Jackson. If they trade him, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I'll say this. I'm not necessarily concerned that he's going to have this issue because he had one bad preseason game. I mean, think about this. Pete Carroll's been talking about all offseason long how he was the MVP of the offseason, that he was great throughout minicamp and OTAs and training camp. Mike Jackson, I think you're going to see more of that and less of what we saw against Dallas. Should the Seahawks trade Mike Jackson? Weigh in. What do you think? Tell me in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no. Should they make a trade or not for trade away Mike Jackson? Weigh in. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't miss out. We're going to be live for our Seahawks-Packers watch party coming up on Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Going to be bright and early, but don't worry. Me and Smitty, we're going to have a good time here with the 12s. You will not want to miss out on it. We'll have a few drinks on hand, analyze the game in real time. It is guaranteed to be a good one. Seahawks, Packers, Saturday night live right here on Seahawks Today. All right. There you have it. We are just about done and ready to call it a day here on Seahawks Today, as Smitty is about to rejoin me here in just a second. We're at $42 in Super Chats right now, and it is 4:26 on the West Coast. Happy hour still going on. I'm not ready to leave just yet. Here's what I'm willing to do. Smitty, I'll put a minute on the clock. If we get a Super Chat of any amount, we'll stay live, we'll hang out, we'll talk more Seahawks football with you here for a bit.
Yeah.
If not, we'll sign off, we'll call it a day. And here's your last chance to get on the show, get some screen time, and we'll talk whatever questions you got. You want to talk Seahawks? You want to talk life? You need relationship advice from Smitty? He's got it for you. Whatever it may be. Any Super Chat gets you a shout-out. $5, we'll sing the DK song. $10, we'll take a shot. $20, do a little beer chug. Every $50, we'll do a beer shotgun. And we're at $42 right now, so that means we're about 160, about 159 away from Das Boot. Here it is in all its glory. 3 beers in one. We will take down Das Boot for you if we get to that $200 mark. $100 and you can have a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. If you already sent in a super chat earlier, that counts towards your total. $100 total, and you get a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. So James Mack, I'm looking at you. 80 more bucks, and you could be on the Boot Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
Daddy, 24, with a $5 super chat, says stay on. So the show rolls on. We continue. Show goes on. Daddy, good to be here. We will keep going. $5 super chat. We got to sing the DK song. Chopping, carols, chopping, Gino passes, no one stopping DK. Touchdowns all day. He rules. Thank you, Daddy, for that one. I feel weird calling anyone else Daddy.
Yeah,
but hey, $5 super chat, I'll call you whatever you want. Thanks for that one. So with that said, we'll stay on for a bit as we keep the show rolling here.
Use hashtag Seahawks if you want to ask a question. We'll answer a couple more if you guys have some questions. Talk some ball.
Smitty, let me ask you this. Heading into the preseason game on Saturday, what are you looking for? What are your expectations? What do you want to see from the Seahawks on Saturday?
I think I mentioned this last week. I want to see everybody get out of the game healthy. That's all I need to see. That's all I need to see. It's a third preseason game. It's not going to tell you too much you don't already know. I'd like to bring the Jordan Love hype train back down to earth. That'd be pretty fun. Like pick them off once or twice. Like that'd be something that'd be pretty fun. Funny story. My favorite Seahawks game, and I bet you a lot of people in the chat can attest to this. My favorite Seahawks game ever, my favorite football game of all time is the
James with a $100 super chat. Bang! Let's go! Let's go! James with a $100 super chat. Apocalypse!
Apocalypse is such a thing. Let's go! It's such
Apocalypse is in!
It's so in!
It's in! Let's go! Let's go! The Apocalypse is on!
It's so on!
It's on like Donkey Kong! Let's go! James Mack, welcome to the Seahawks Boot Hall of Fame!
Bang! Let's go!
Let's go! Everybody spam James in the chat! Spam James! Let's go! Let's go! James Mack with a $100 super chat, and he's going on the Boot Hall of Fame. Wow! Wow! Spam James! Spam James Mack. And you know what I got to do for this? I got to put Apocalypse on the Boot Hall of Fame.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Apocalypse has to be in the Boot Hall of Fame.
It's going all there together. James Hawkpocalypse. I'm going to write it on here, and forever, for eternity. Nobody can take this away from you.
Nope.
You're not getting that Reggie Bush treatment. This is all you. Apocalypse, welcome to the Boot Hall of Fame. Everybody spam Apocalypse. James in the chat, welcome to the Boot Hall of Fame. What a moment. James Mack puts us at $147 with that $100 super check. Congratulations, James Mack. There you are right there in all its glory. James, the Apocalypse is on. It's on.
The bunch of people showing love in the chat to James. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to James, of course. Hashtag Hawkpocalypse. Let's get it on. Woo! So, yeah, that was awesome. I was in the middle.
Let's go.
I was in the middle of telling.
Let's go. Let's go. So now, folks, it's getting interesting.
Yeah.
It's getting interesting.
It's $54 away from a...
$54.
53. We'll call it 53.
53 away from a boot.
It's just one Malcolm Smith away. One Malcolm Smith away.
53 away from Das Boot. Who can I tempt out there? 53 away to take down Das Boot. 3 beers in one. We're going to stay on for a bit after the $100 Super Chat from James.
That's fun.
Let's go back to the Super Chat menu.
Sure.
See who wants to get involved. James, welcome to the Boot Hall of Fame. What a tremendous honor. I am so glad that you could make the Boot Hall of Fame, that we could induct you, that we could get you a spot. $100 Super Chat. You know, all I said to James, too, was like, hey, 80 will get you there. And you know what? He still said, I'm throwing down 100.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's a baller
James.
right there.
Let's
James Mack, the apocalypse is on. It's there. All right. Who's next? Who's going to keep this party going? We are 53 away from Das Boot. Any Super Chat equals a shout-out. $5 Super Chat, we sing the DK song. $10 Super Chat, we'll do a Geno shot, get the fireball out. $20, do a beer chug. $50, we'll do a beer shotgun. That's what we're looking at. And so, James, that $100 Super Chat, I'm so thrilled to bring you into the Boot Hall of Fame. That was a great moment right there. That was what the Hawkpocalypse is all about. I could feel the Hawkpocalypse.
Oh, pulsing through my veins. Let's go.
Right? That was unbelievable. That was a great moment right there.
So I want to ask, because I was about to say, before that bombshell of a Super Chat, my favorite Seahawks game of all time, favorite football game of all time.
Yes, finish your story. Put yourself on screen.
Of course, yeah, why not? Why not? So my favorite game of all time is the 2014 NFC Championship.
Okay.
Against your the Green Bay Packers. The most exhilarating sporting event I think I've ever witnessed. It was balls to the walls. It looked like maybe the worst Seahawks game of all time.
Yeah.
And then it became the best as things went on. Russ, just tons of mistakes in the beginning of the game. We had drop picks at a Doug Baldwin fumble on a kickoff return. Oh, things were looking dim for the Seahawks to return to the Super Bowl. And they ended up making the most miraculous comeback I've ever seen. It wasn't the biggest comeback as far as points go, but to be down, 9 points with like 2 minutes remaining, to come back, force overtime, score on the first possession, which wouldn't end the game today, by the way. But that Jermaine Kearse chucks the ball. I still don't think that football's landed yet. That is my favorite game of all time. Shout out your favorite game in the chat, favorite Seahawks game.
When I think Seahawks-Packers, I think the infamous Monday night game.
Replacement refs.
With the replacement refs.
Yes, the replacement refs is the Fail Mary, as it's called. Yes, that is quite the game. Golden Tate came down with that. For some reason, I always think Sidney Rice did, but I think it's Golden Tate that came down with that ball. Throw Tyler back on the screen.
That's what when I think Seahawks-Packers, I think of the Fail Mary.
Oh. Super Bowl 49 and the 23 NFC Championship from Nick Fury. 2013, excuse me. That's the Niners one with the Sherman tip right into Malcolm Smith's hands. What a game that was as well. That kind of that was my third year seriously watching football, so that was a lot of fun. Super Bowl 4. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Super Bowl 49 was your favorite, Nick Fury. You meant to say 48.
Yeah,
that
not
makes
49. No.
Nick Fury, speaking of Super Bowls, did you watch the Pete Carroll interview on the Richard Sherman show? That was very interesting. Talks a lot about that. Talks a lot about the decisions made at the end of that game. Talks about the highs of highs that were just the year before in Super Bowl 48. So,
yeah. There's the Super Chat menu. You want to get involved. Any Super Chat equals shout out. $5 to do the DK song. $10 will do a Geno shot. $20 do a beer chug. $50 do a beer shotgun. 53 away from doing Das Boot, and $100 gets you a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. I'll say this: when I think of like great Seahawk games, my personal favorite is beating the Niners in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, that's up there.
And the Richard Sherman interview with Aaron Andrews.
Don't you ever talk about me.
Don't you ever talk about me.
I'm the best corner in the game. You try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me. And then
that was an incredible football game.
Erin Andrews with the microphone, she's like shivering. She goes, "Who is talking about you?"
Right. And she thought it was directed at her at first.
Yeah. And then Sherman goes, Crabtree! It was perfect. One of the greatest sports interviews post-game of all time.
What's for dinner tonight, Smitty?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably order it out. I'm bad in the kitchen, man. Not good.
I'm thinking Raisin Cane's for me tonight.
Ooh, that'd be real good. You know, Raisin Cane's famously not available on DoorDash. Pretty rough.
Really?
Not available, no.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, believe Raisin Cane's and
I got a notification on my my Ring app that one of my neighbors had their DoorDash stolen.
I'd be throwing a fit. DoorDash is very good about giving you your money back though when you
But can you imagine like you were waiting for that food the entire time?
And it takes a while too. Like you order DoorDash, especially in a big city.
And you open the door and somebody stole your DoorDash.
Yeah. You're waiting about 45 minutes for that meal most of the time, depending on where you get it from. If it's not there, and then it's not coming, or it came and then it got stolen, it would be the worst day of that week for me.
Here's the question. 12s, feel free to chime in and tell me what you think on this. Let's say we've all been there. We've ordered a drunk pizza, right?
Oh, yeah.
What if you fall asleep and the pizza gets delivered there?
Yep.
What is the amount of time allowed before the neighbor's allowed to eat some of that pizza?
I think it's an hour. It's probably a little less than that, probably a half hour. If you're not getting your pizza at the door by a half hour after it's already there, I feel like it's a free game, right?
Yeah. So I was in Nashville a while back, and somebody had a drunk order pizza next door to me at the hotel I was staying at. And when I was in my hotel room, showered and all that, changed and went out, and I came back after the bars closed, and the pizza was still there. And so I'm like, I got to eat this pizza now.
Have to.
Yeah. All right. Sublink we'll throw in the chat. We're going to sign off here in just a second. But we have had a lot of fun today.
Been good. Been a real good.
I've enjoyed it. Smitty, my pleasure as always to be here with you.
Of course.
Sublink is in the chat. Make sure to join us coming up on Saturday. We'll get started bright and early. 9 a.m. Pacific time. Smitty's going to be here.
Yeah, I will. Bright and early.
Don't forget to wake up. Set your alarm. Set your alarm and join us. We'll be live coming up tomorrow, on Saturday, rather. You'll not want to miss it. He's Tyler Smith. I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great rest of your night. We will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.